Hi, my name is Andrew Spate and I do various different roles that all ultimately link to changing systems and improving the lives of young people. My paid job is as a youth advisor to Blackpool Council, where I lend my lived experience of being out of education, employment or training to its new employment and skills strategy for young people, although the role has really expanded from that core brief and got much broader. I'm also a volunteer youth worker for Your Potential, focusing on supporting Blackpool Youth Council, making sure it can run and supporting its operations, as well as with a brief focusing on supporting the Member of Youth Parliament for Blackpool and the Deputy Member of Youth Parliament for Blackpool. I was previously the Member of Youth Parliament for Blackpool myself between March 2019 and March 2022. I think it's really important that young people attend the Rethinking Education conference, because all too often young people, as with parents and carers and frontline teachers, aren't given due airtime in the education debate. Quite often it focuses on academics who've done a lot of research or senior leaders, but the people who are actually there on the front line receiving and giving the education are too seldom heard. And I think there is great merit in us starting to listening to those groups of people, as they can offer really unique insights that will seriously help us drive education forward and offer unique and innovative solutions which perhaps haven't been considered hitherto. I also think it's really important that young people have a say on their education. It dominates every aspect of young people's lives in a similar manner to how work dominates the lives of adults. Adults get a say on their work a lot of the time, whether that be through trade unions or professional associations, or even just voting for a government to implement policies that determine how the workplace is governed. But young people don't get that same influence on their education, despite the influence education wields over them being similar to the influence that work wields over adults. Yet, it is enshrined in Article 12 of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child that young people must be allowed to have a say on any decisions and processes which affect them. And of course, one of the biggest processes which affects them is their education. I also think that as a society, we've talked ourselves into too much this narrative that young people are too inexperienced or too immature to have a proper, meaningful stake and say on anything, including their education. Yet, this approach really focuses on talking young people down, always saying that they're not enough or they don't have enough, that there's always some insufficiency there. When actually, young people have some pretty interesting and unique insights and lived experiences that some adults won't have, or it will be different to that from adults. Yet, just because of their age, we overlook what experience they have and focus on what they don't. What we need to do is start to focus on what they have rather than what they don't, and make sure we use that to our advantage as a society to make sure that we can progress forward and are doing things that are really in the best interests of young people. I am convinced that at the Rethinking Education Conference, we will not be giving any diligence to those stereotypes. Young people will be engaged with as equals. They will be on an equal par with the adults and professionals in the room and allowed equal say in expressing their opinions. I think it's a really unique, co-productive and exciting form for young people to get involved with. And I would really, really encourage them to come here and just communicate their vision for education in a way that in mainstream society they're often held down from doing. It will probably be for young people a really liberating experience to finally be able to speak freely about their education without being told, oh, you're too inexperienced, come back to me when you're a bit older. So for all those reasons, I would really like all young people who have a vision for education to come to the Rethinking Education Conference on September 17th. Join me and others as we thrash out a bold, new, innovative vision for education.